Hey guys, so today I'm doing a springtime nail look. Could also be used for Easter. I've already done my right hand, which is my dominant hand, just to go through my concept in my head, make sure that the idea worked and how I wanted to explain it to you guys. So my right hand is already done. And now I'm going to do my left hand with you guys. So I've already prepped my nails with the colors that I am looking to use. I'm actually recycling my last look, which was just a basic French. I had a more professional event I needed to go to, and so I had just a standard French manicure going on. But now that that's over, I wanted something a little more festive. So for this look, I have prepped my pinky and my index fingers with just regular white. It doesn't have to be a super opaque, super even look because we are going to be putting something on top. But I did do 2 coats just for a mostly even look. On my middle finger, I have a French. I refreshed the tip with some more white. And then my ring finger is also a French, but instead of a white tip, I have a lavender tip. You could do whatever color you like. If you wanted to leave it as a white French, you could do that too. I just wanted something a little bit more pastel. And then I have a white egg shape here, which will come into play later. If you do not want this to be a very Eastery looking look, you can skip that part or put something else here like a gemstone or do a little flower or something like that. On my thumb, I still have the French look on my thumb. I just refreshed the tip with some more white. And so for this look, you could do this in gel or in regular nail polish. I have this done in gel. And I'm going to be using, actually, so for this look, I'm going to be using Sharpies or whatever brand permanent marker that you have. Non-permanent marker may work, but I haven't tried it. Also, it may smear when you put on your top coat. So that's why I'm using permanent marker. Mine happened to be Sharpie brand. So I've got a light blue color. I've got a purple color. This is probably looking like it's black on camera, but it is a very dark purple color. And I have a lime green color and a red color and a yellow color. I did test these out on paper to make sure they all worked before I even attempted this look. And I also smeared them out with a little bit of rubbing alcohol just to see how all these colors would look before actually putting them on my nails. If you're using anything other than these markers, it might not be a bad idea to do that test ahead of time just to make sure you like how these look as they fade out, because we will be fading these out with rubbing alcohol. So these are the colors that we'll be using on top for our nail art. So whatever brand markers you want to get for that, I just recommend that they be permanent. And then I also have a fine tipped permanent marker in black. And when I say fine tipped, it's very, very teeny. It says ultra fine point. I'm also going to be using rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol. And then the last thing I'm using, and again, this would be optional, but, and I don't even know if they sell this particular brand anymore, but I am using Sally Hansen color foil polish in a gold color. This one's called Yellow Gold. I am going to be using this for a little bit of accent, additional accent on my nails. On my other hand here, I have it at, on my on my ring finger, and I also have some little dots throughout the design, just for something a little extra, but you certainly don't have to. Or if you have like maybe a glitter polish, I really like the pop of metallic on there. So anything metallic really. This just so happens to be what I'm choosing to use for my design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small glass and I'm going to pour some rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol into here. And I'm going to put this over to the side. So if I'm dipping in to something, this is it, this is where it is. So let's start with our pinky. Pick whatever colors you want, and we're just going to start scribbling onto the nail in random shapes. And we're going to want to cover most of the nail, but it doesn't have to be covered or colored in like 100%, because we will be blurring this out. I am capping these in between uses because I am clumsy and I will totally knock my hands into this if I don't recap it. Okay, and so I'm dipping the, let me show you how I'm doing it. So I'm dipping and I'm getting most of this off on the side here, so it's pretty wet with the rubbing alcohol still, but not dripping. So we're going to take that brush that's mostly wet but not dripping, and we're going to pat on the rubbing alcohol and kind of bounce my brush around to kind of blur and blend the colors. And I am using just a little tissue on the side here, so that when my brush does pick up some of the color, I can just wick some of that color off of the brush, so I don't make a whole muddy mess over the whole nail. So once I have that to a degree that I'm happy with, I'll go ahead and let that dry. And we'll move on to the next nail. I'm going to try some of that purple. I'm going to do red. And we're going to do some blue. Get some blue. And I think I'm pretty happy with the way that is right there. I think that's good. So we're going to leave that like that to dry, and we'll move on to our next nail. Now for these French tipped ones, I kind of want to have the color fading into the rest of the nail. I'm not looking to keep it a super sharp French. As you can see on this hand, I kind of faded it down a little bit. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to color in the white tip, but then I'm also going to drag some of the color down a little bit, just kind of messily, either dot it down or I'll show in my next color I use here. You can color in and then like just drag a single line down, just scribble a little bit down, not too much. You don't want it solidly colored in because again, we're wanting this to kind of fade into the natural color of the nail. This is that purple color that maybe doesn't look quite so purple. Go ahead and take our brush with the alcohol, and for this I'm actually going to get this flesh colored part wet with the alcohol and then drag up into the color. And because I'm not wanting to mix too much, I am cleaning every couple brush strokes on the little tissue next to me and kind of tap the end of the nail to help encourage the color to go all the way to the end so it doesn't look unfinished. We can add additional color on top of that if it got a little too faded. We can take more alcohol and kind of scrub a little bit if we feel like the color got pulled too far down. And I think I want to add just a little bit more green because it did get super faded right in this area. So I'm going to go ahead and dot that in and just kind of blend that in by tapping the brush with a little bit of alcohol. And there we go. And these little like lines that you'll see here, I absolutely do not mind those. I'm kind of going for a watercolory kind of look. And in watercolor, you will see those kind of lines there. So you don't need to keep reworking this until it's completely perfectly blended or gradient. That's not the look that I'm going for here. So this is, in my opinion, very easy. So if you want to keep blending it, you certainly can. And I think I'm pretty happy with that, at least for now. If I want to revisit it, I can revisit it later. So let's move on to the index finger. So we're probably going to use all the colors here. We'll start with some red, and we'll just put that over there. And if you're not sure what colors to use or the order to use them in, I'll lead by example here on this nail. Go in the order of the colors of the rainbow in a circle, because they naturally blend together that way. And then you don't have to worry as much about them blending together and becoming brown. And they almost make kind of a neat pattern just like that, just by dotting on some alcohol, rubbing alcohol. But I do want to make sure everything blends out, so I am using the brush to kind of tap things out a little bit. And then it's especially dark here, so I'm taking a mostly dry brush, the same brush that I've been using the alcohol with, and I'm just wicking up some of that extra color. Pretty happy with the way that turned out. So I'm going to leave that alone. And we'll move on to the thumbnail. And so this is another French tip one. So on this thumb, I have, looks like I have red and purple and blue. So let's try and recreate that again. So scribble in our red, kind of dot it down a little bit. We have purple. And my purple is pretty powerful, so I'm just going to do a thin little bit of it here. And then we'll go to our blue. Okay. And take the brush, dip it into the rubbing alcohol, and with a mostly wet brush, same thing. So we're wetting this part down here and working our way up into the other colors up here. Gonna kind of use the brush to try and blend those down a little bit. I'm just, again, trying to encourage the color to kind of wick over the ends. Make sure we have color all the way across the nail. I think I'm pretty happy with the way that is. So we will return to our other nails to continue working. And in case you're wondering, I have the heart here just so I know where to put my hand, try and keep it in focus. And we're going to zoom in a little more here because now is the time to break out our black fine-tipped marker here. Again, I highly recommend something that's permanent. I have tried using, just for some line work, I tried using I think I tried using this, which is also Sharpie, but it's a pen. And nowhere does it say that it's waterproof. And I found that out the hard way when I went to put top coat on it, and it smeared everywhere. So that's why I recommend a permanent marker of some sort. Doesn't have to be Sharpie brand, I don't think. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw either a flower that you already know exists, or you can make up your own flower, but something that looks kind of like a flower or leaves or something kind of organic looking. I'm going to go for, let's see, I'm going to make the center here. And then draw on your petals. Most flowers are like 5 to 6 petals, but this is your flower. I'm going to pull a Bob Ross here and tell you, this is your flower, this is your world. However you want your flower to look, you go ahead and make that flower however you want it to be. So we have our little flower. You can add some little lines, extra lines for extra embellishment if you like. There we go. And there's my little flower on that finger. So we'll move on to our ring finger. Now I wanted this to be an egg. If you don't want an egg, like I said, make it, you know, a little flower, put a little gemstone there. You don't have to put anything there if you don't want to. I just felt it added to the design to have a little something there. So I'm going to outline this egg. And then I like to draw a little squiggly to help further identify it as like an Easter egg. If you don't want to do that, or if you want to add polka dots to yours, that's fine. Moving on to the middle finger. We're going to try and draw some kind of little flowers just in this kind of arching shape. So I think I'm going to go with little 5-petaled flowers, which is a little different from my other hand, but that's totally fine. They don't have to be matchy-matchy. And I'm going to add a couple little loops for added embellishment. I think maybe one here. And that should be good for now. Moving on to our index finger. It's almost just so pretty, just like that. But I'm showing you ahead to the design, so we'll keep on going. I want to do something that looks a little bit like lavender, but like close-up of lavender. So I think if you were to look at lavender up close, maybe you would do kind of got little bits sticking out in all directions. I can put a couple more abstract guys in the background. There we go. Okay, we'll go ahead and let that dry. And then on the thumbnail, so on my thumbnail, I'm going to draw some like vines hanging down. With little leaves on them. And again, however you want to design your little garden, your little nail garden, is up to you. Whatever makes you happy. And so that's all of those guys. So to finish, I'm going to be adding my metallic embellishment. So I'm going to take a little index card here, shake it up real good because I know mine separates. So just make sure yours isn't separated. And take a little brush, get your product in there. And then I want to line my French here. And for me, I am using a regular polish, metallic polish here. If you have a metallic gel, by all means use it. I just don't have a metallic gel in my collection yet. I'm going to add some accents, metallic accents. So I'm going to add like a little dot in my petals here to add a little bling there. And then for these other ones that are too small to add directly into the flowers, I'll add like around the flowers, little dots. You could dot them among the flowers as well. And put a couple dots along the center of my non-lavender lavender. And then on my thumbnail, we'll go ahead and add little dots in that design. So that's all the embellishments. So all that's left here is I'm going to clean up this line a little bit with some acetone. I can do that because the base is gel. If you are doing this again with regular polish as your base, that's not going to be as easy for you. So I'm going to clean that up with some acetone. I'm going to top coat these and then I'm going to come back. I am back. We are all top coated here. We're all done. So these are the nails that I just did with you guys. With our permanent markers for the most part, and a little bit of nail polish for the metallic accent. I think there's even metallic permanent markers. That might even work too. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. And if you give this look a try, please tag me. I'd love to see it. And I thank you very much for watching. And I hope you have a great day and a great Easter. Or if you don't celebrate Easter, just a great weekend. All right. Thanks. Bye.